In 2020, Rakuten collaborated with Accenture to launch the world's first fully virtualized cloud-native mobile network. A year on from the launch, what have been the key challenges and achievements, and what now lies ahead for their partnership? I'm Guy Daniels, Director of Content at Telecom TV, and we're going to discover more about this ambitious project from those instrumental to its success. So let me now introduce Tariq, who is Group Chief Technology Officer of Rakuten, Francesco Venturini, who is Senior Managing Director, Strategy and Consulting, Communications and Media Global at Accenture, and Tunç Yorulmaz, who is Managing Director with Accenture. Hello everyone, thank you all for joining us today. Now, I'm going to hand over to Francesco and Tunç for our conversation with Tariq. Francesco.
So thank you, Guy, for the introduction, and welcome once again to Tariq. It's a pleasure actually to have you here with me and Tunç. I think the last 2 years for Accenture, as Guy mentioned, have been I think a fantastic journey, and it was a fantastic opportunity to collaborate with Tariq and Tariq organization in deploying the first of its kind 5G fully cloud native virtualized network. Tariq, I think what it will be interesting for me, for Tunç, for our audience is a little bit to understand how did you come up with the vision? What were the observations that you had on the market that led you to this breakthrough and this innovative vision about a first of its kind 5G network deployment?
Thank you, Francesco. Pleasure being here with you today. So for me personally, obviously this journey did not just start when I joined Rakuten in 2018, but this journey was started in the early days when I took another assignment in Reliance Jio in India. I discovered the importance and the criticality of having complete hardware disaggregation strategy and the advantage that yielded in terms of cost and efficiency. I discovered the importance of moving away from proprietary hardware to a completely software fabric into the network, and its implications in terms of agility and the ability to deliver on enhancements to the network in a near real time compared to what existed before. And in June 2018, I had the opportunity to meet the chairman and the CEO of Rakuten. And him and I talked about the dream and an idea. And the idea is, let us push the envelope. Let us do something very unique, something that hasn't happened in this industry. Let us look at an opportunity to virtualize the entire telecom stack and control the entire hardware disaggregation strategy. But we also wanted to do something that hasn't happened in this industry. We wanted to push the envelope on the disaggregation of radio access. And Francesco, you guys know why that's important. Today, north of 70% of CapEx spend in mobile operators go to radio access. So it was a really critical vision, a critical strategy to completely demystify the secrets of radio access, push the envelope to move away from complex hardware upgrade cycles to a completely virtual network functions, and moving the baseband from proprietary hardware to a baseband that lives in software on our edge data centers. And one thing, Francesco, I will share with you, and I can't really tell you the reasons why, other than when I started in Rakuten, I never thought that this project will fail. I never had a moment that I believed, oh my God, I got to look for a plan B. What I always had is the support of a large ecosystem, including Accenture and others that came in, that believed in the mission and believed in the timing and believed in the importance of the transformation that must happen in this industry to move us into a far more cloud native architecture from what existed in the past. So I would tell you this idea of no plan B in Rakuten have become infectious. And that is really, to me, a lot of the accomplishment that has happened, mobilizing the organization, hiring the right mentality, hiring the right talent, motivating them, empowering them to go deliver on such disruptive architecture was really one of the key things on how this strategy formulated. But again, I really will emphasize and probably tell everybody that I wasn't personally worried about failure. I mean, so what? But it was critical for me and my team to take on this, this step. We all felt that the timing was right, technology has matured, and a lot of the technology stack is ready to be consumed to deploy such an architecture. And, fast forward 3 years, and here we are launching the world end-to-end virtualized infrastructure that's highly elastic, fully automated, and still scratching the surface about what is possible. So it's been really, really an exciting journey, and I think this is just the beginning of what's going to come in the next few months.
I find actually fascinating when you talk about the lack of a plan B. I find that absolutely fascinating, because especially in an industry that is sometimes obsessed with having a plan B or a plan C or a plan D, and having those plans is almost the norm. Really, the conviction around the vision, the fact that you have assembled the right talent, the right skills, the right support around you, and I think a little bit probably that broad maverick attitude that drives innovation and drives the ability of going out of the comfort zone. I think is probably those are the drivers and some of the ingredients of these game-changing moments that I think you and the team have driven and have accomplished, we can say by now, for the telecommunication industry. I think once you told me, or I must have read, I don't remember, the notion of Rakuten communication platform being the AWS moment of the telecommunication industry. I think you anticipated a little bit some of the elements, but can you articulate and explain to us why is this an AWS moment for the telecommunication industry?
So, Francesco, I mean, here is part of the discoveries that we had during the journey. And, this idea and the realization of the impact of this end-to-end virtualized software stack. Of course, in the early days, maybe myself and others have never realized what could be the potential, not just for Rakuten Mobile as in Japan-only deployment, but the potential for a global ecosystem. Before I answer about this analogy that I have given everybody is the equivalent of an AWS moment for IT industry, let's understand a little bit of the past about how telecom networks have been engineered, architected, and operated. If you look across the world today, most telecom networks have existed on proprietary hardware implementation, whether it is radio access, that in any global telecom deployment, as they migrate from one generation of technology to the other, it's always about hardware lift and changing and removing hardware, whether it is removing of cabinets, changing baseband cards, but it's always about hardware. And then if you actually look at the core, up till recently, the core was also a proprietary hardware. And in the case of Rakuten, when you start changing the personality of this network to virtual network functions that are highly elastic and highly orchestrated, you will discover that now the idea becomes really more of a practical, that if you build a cloud that is hardened for telco workloads, a cloud that is able to deliver on the ultra low latency requirements that radio access needs, then one would ask why we could not turn what we have done in Rakuten Mobile into a platform. And in the latter end of our deployment into Japan, in fact, that's how the Rakuten communication platform idea and the concept came about. And the idea came from realization that, in fact, Rakuten have developed a substantial amount of intellectual properties. And this intellectual properties revolved around a cloud infra that has some unique characteristics to deliver the latency requirement that radio access need, a entire OSS orchestration and BSS that is fully automated to deliver on our goals and vision for autonomy. And if we deliver all the lessons learned that we had in Japan, the last 3 years, believe me, it was not simple. We made a lot of mistakes. We failed many times, but we always picked ourselves and moved forward. So what happened if we packaged all these lessons learned into a cloud connectivity platform that enables delivering connectivity as simple as click, purchase, deploy. And in fact, this is now the journey of Rakuten Communication Platform, is the industrialization of what happened in Japan into a global connectivity platform. And by the way, I mean, this is the analogy I have given. I don't have the insight, obviously, to what happened maybe in the early days of creation of AWS, but I felt, maybe this is the same feeling that Rakuten Mobile engineers had, as we feel now that we truly have a differentiated connectivity platform, a differentiated architecture, and we have uniqueness. The uniqueness around our automation platform and our OSS platform gives a big advantage to this connectivity architecture that we hope that's going to materialize not only in Japan, but also across the world.
Tariq, I mean, such a success. Almost within a year, you passed 4 million subscribers and thousands of base stations deployed, a new architecture up and running. And this is already proven by independent parties that performance is good. I would like to really ask, what are the top 3 topics really you feel the most proud of? Really, what are the things closest to your heart? If you can share a couple of perspectives with us.
Yeah, so Tunj, to be very honest with you, I've always been an individual that is not obviously fascinated only about technology, but more fascinated about the DNA and the fabric of platform organization. So if I tell you the number one proud moment I had is the organization of Rakuten and what we have created in Japan. I'm not sure if many people know that, I moved to Tokyo and 53 other nationalities moved their families, their children's into Tokyo to work as full-time employees and of Rakuten. So the composition and the diversity of the organization and its ability to leapfrog in terms of thinking with no hindrance to worrying about, oh, is this going to work or not, is really my number one accomplishment. Number two is something I would say for the larger ecosystem is the creation of a collaborative environment in which many partners, and the strange thing, some of the partners that Rakuten have mobilized to work together, to collaborate together, outside of the geography in Japan, they're actually competitors. But inside Japan, somehow this idea of creating a new platform architecture has become infectious, and infectious in the essence of trying to really mobilize a new energy, collaborate, partner. And at the end of the day, the business model worked beautifully well for everybody. Everybody was able to monetize, and everybody was able to meet goals and objectives. And third, which is really an important one, and I can't underestimate this, is the important to society transformation. So if you say about proud moment, you look at what happened in Japan pre and post Rakuten Mobile launch. Japan used to be one of the most expensive countries in the world in terms of data consumption. I think I have seen a report a couple of weeks back published by MIC showing now Japan is in the top 3 lowest data consumption countries in the world. I mean, what an amazing story. If anybody is looking, obviously, about what to do in terms of adoption of new digitization into the fabric of their society, creating new opportunities for revenue beyond just connectivity, please come look at Japan and see what has happened here. I personally could not be more prouder of the work that we have done and accomplished. But it's not just about me personally, but we have a very large, dedicated group organization that is also motivated to push this change, of course, in Japan, but also to deliver this change across the world.
What is your perspective, Tariq, that in terms of the future, what will be some unique business ideas that will be implemented in Rakuten Mobile or Rakuten Communications Platform on RCP? Which uniqueness you are planning to introduce going forward when it comes to business?
Tunj, I mean, one thing I want to emphasize, and I think you've hit on it, is one of the primary reasons that I joined Rakuten and I was intrigued about the company is the fact that the company is not a telecommunication operator. a company that really doesn't understand telecom whatsoever, but it really understand software very well, understand cloud extremely well, and has operated 71 internet-facing uh, uh, internet services. And to this extent, I thought it would have been brilliant to see how I could harness and mobilize this synergy, especially around software and the skill sets that exist in this company. So the dream for us, when we think about what is the really big aspiration. So I'll give you two big aspiration. One is about the network platform, and the other one is about product and service. In the network platform, I would love nothing else than the world celebrate telecommunication platform fabric in the same way they celebrate autonomous cars. I want to drive autonomy into the fabric of the telecom network. Autonomy, which meaning a level 4 autonomous network that is self-healing, self-organizing, self-optimizing. I always say that is no longer a white paper. This is really a practical reality with such a platform architecture. So this is now our constant work as we progress, is how we improve the operation through software and deliver on infrastructure as a code with one objective in mind. 24 months from today, we want to get closer to that idea of autonomy in the fabric of every node in this network, enabling auto healing, auto scaling, and elasticity in every single node that we deploy on our cloud platform. And in terms of services and products, I cannot be more excited about the synergies that Rakuten is building around its ecosystem. It is no secret that our business model is not just revolve around connectivity. Of course, connectivity is important, but that is secondary to the bigger objective. The bigger objective is synergizing the value of cross selling a mobile to the other ecosystem of Rakuten. So for example, imagine today I have a mobile customer that enjoys the benefit of our ultra low cost plan, one plan, but at the same time, this customer could enjoy through our points, reward, loyalty systems, a much larger fabric in terms of ecosystem. They could enjoy these points as they become a Rakuten Bank customer. They could enjoy additional points as they go to purchase goods and transact on e-commerce. And they could enjoy points as they go to and have a Rakuten credit card, Rakuten Travel, and many other services that they need into their day-to-day activities. And as such, I think for us, the next disruption that we're going to do is the continuation of the enablement of Rakuten Link, which has become far much bigger than voice, video, messaging, RCS platform. It has become an ecosystem enablement platform. Development of our mini app platform, integration of Rakuten ecosystem, delivering of this converged services to our customers is our next big aspiration in terms of service differentiation in Japan. And hopefully we could take these platforms also outside of Japan. There's a lot of innovation that happened inside the connectivity platform, and a lot of innovation that happened also on the product and services that we have launched in Japan.
Tariq, we covered the technology aspect, we covered the business aspect. I have one last element that I'm really curious and I would like to hear from you, which is a little bit the human aspect. This has been, by now we fully recognize it's been an ambitious and demanding project. And there was a lot of capital investment, but there was a lot of also human resources investment. So I'm actually curious, how do you and how did you and your management team deal with a little bit the stress and the uncertainty that sometimes, this very innovative vision carry with themselves? Do you have any secret sauce that you can share with us?
So Francisco, I think the secret sauce that I would tell everybody is I always been a big believer on diversity, whether it's diversity in culture, diversity in gender, and diversity in any aspect that you do in your life. To pull through what we have done, we recognize clearly that this is not just about technology breakthrough. Of course, it's important, but I've always thought it's secondary. It is really about building an ecosystem. And this ecosystem started from evangelizing, mobilizing, and creating this massive enthusiasm into our employee base about this opportunity. They really, as much as I hate this word, but it actually makes sense. They have become fanatics around the concept of the creation of the world first cloud native platform. So that's the employee base. The second element, look, you guys are not a far partner to us. Accenture has been a very close partner to Rakuten. Just think about also the transformation that we have done together, bringing the best of what Accenture could do, the best of what Rakuten could deliver, to create the industrialization that we needed, such that we're not able, we don't look at this as a human intensive operation, but actually a highly scalable, replicatable model that could go easily outside of Japan to the global market. So I think this is really the essence of it, is just ensuring that you furnish a fertile ground for innovation and disruptions. And I would say your employees will be utterly delighted. Give them the opportunity to fail, because a lot of people are very worried about this, to say, well, look, if Open RAN doesn't work, it's a disaster. You should never think this way. You should always believe that we as human beings are far more capable sometimes than we give ourselves credit for. So this mobilization, Francisco, of talent, resources, and partners really been part of the secret sauce to enable the disruption that we have done in Japan. And I'm using the same secret formula, frankly speaking, as we look at globalization of Rakuten communication platform outside of the border of Japan.
It's incredible. And pushing the comfort zone and not thinking about failure, but remaining positive with a clear vision I have and the right talent supporting you and the fan base. I think it's a very, very interesting concept. So just in closing, the last question. It's evident by now that all the eyes are on Rakuten. Everybody has been talking and still talk. We are talking today about this incredible journey. You raised the bar. Your team raised the bar. Rakuten, I think, raised the bar in the industry. So where do you guys go from here? So what is the next big ambition? What is the next big disruption? If there is something that you can share with us.
Yeah, I think, Francesco, I think in the coming months, and hopefully much sooner even, is the formalization and announcement of Rakuten Global Connectivity Platform. We've discussed publicly that we want to materialize RCP and present it as a credible alternative, as a software cloud native connectivity platform that is agile, deliver on elasticity, and have auto healing implemented in its fabric to deliver on ultra reliable services for our future customers. We have a huge desire to enter this platform business, and a huge desire to disrupt, and a huge desire to partner, and a huger desire to co-innovate, co-develop, and reimagine the new connectivity architecture that is based on software. We remove any proprietary hardware from its fabric and DNA, implement automation on every element into this network, and deliver into this dream of autonomy, an autonomous network into its fabric. So I would hope that in the next few months you will hear some big announcements as we reach closer to Mobile World Congress about our aspiration and our products that we're going to go to market or global markets with. So we're looking forward, obviously, to our continuation, our partnership to enable this disruption outside of Japan.
Thank you for sharing that. I mean, in all honesty, I wasn't expecting anything less from a Rakuten organization, but thank you for sharing at high level the plan.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes, thank you everybody. Absolutely fascinating discussion on how you enabled the cloud native network and also pioneered the Rakuten communications platform model, virtualizing the entire end-to-end stack and opening up new opportunities for all operators, no matter where they are. And we look forward to seeing what comes next, as you say, Tariq, as you drive autonomy into the very fabric of the telecoms network and open up even more e-commerce capabilities. Well, for more information on the collaboration between Accenture and Rakuten, please visit the Accenture website or click on the links below. For now though, thank you very much for watching and goodbye.